For the weighted pull-up or chin-up, I'm going to be utilizing a leather dipping belt. I've had this for about 10 years. It's super comfy and super durable. I'm going to set up my plate with my belt first. I have this plate leaning up against the post to make it nice and easy for me to put that chain into the center of the plate. And also when I'm loading up the dip belt onto my hips, it makes it a lot easier to roll that plate away from the post rather than picking it up off the ground. That comes in handy when you have 2, 3, 4, 45-pound plates strapped up to this. It makes it a lot easier to get in position. Next thing you want to do is make sure that the height of your bar is just right so that you have enough room to establish your grip. If that bar is too high and you're just barely getting your hands on there before you take your feet off the platform and allow yourself to start doing your pull-up, it's not going to be the best pull-up you've ever done because you're not able to establish your grip. I would say that's the foundation of this movement. So make sure that you use a plyometric box or some mats or some plates or something to stand on so you have more than enough room to get your grip before you let your feet go from the ground. First thing we're going to do is get inside this dip belt. We got to get this weight on our hips. I'm going to get inside the dip belt. I'm going to roll it away from the post. I'm going to wedge that plate in between my lower legs. I'm going to make sure this belt comes up behind the shorts so it doesn't hike them up. And I'm going to place it in that nice spot there at the bottom of the low back where it meets the top of the hips. Make sure it's not going to slide off. I'm also going to make sure this weight is centered between my legs. If you have one plate, if you have 2 or 3 plates on there and one's heavier than the other 2 or one's heavier than the other one, it tends to shift over. So maneuver that however you need to make sure it's centered. For the pull-up and chin-up, I'm going to demonstrate the pull-up first, but again, our emphasis is on establishing that grip first. The nice thing is this bar isn't too high for me to reach and establish a grip from just the floor. For the pull-up, our palms are going to be facing out. Our hands are going to be shoulder width apart. We don't want to have them out too wide or too in close. You can either have your thumbs wrapped underneath or over top, whichever feels best for your wrist, elbow, and shoulder. Once we establish our grip, I'm going to release my feet from the floor, and this is the next critical part. I'm going to pull my shoulder blades down and back as opposed to just pulling from this just hanging position here. We're going to engage the upper back. Initiate movement by driving the elbows down to that chin's over the bar. Come back down under control, keeping those shoulders packed back in. Belly breath. Pulling straight up, coming back down, and release. We want to avoid dropping too abruptly. We also want to make sure that the elbows are not flaring out to the side. Rather, the forearms are staying vertical and the elbows are driving straight down. We also want to make sure our head stays neutral the whole time, that we're not trying to jut out or round the shoulders forward. For the chin-up variation, my palms are going to be facing me. Again, you can have the thumbs over or thumbs underneath, whichever works best for your body. Establish that grip. Feet off the ground, shoulder blades down and back. Pull straight up to that chin's over the bar. Come back down under control. And repeat. Once done, rest the feet on the ground and release the hands from the bar to lower the weight off the hips. Slide it off the back first. I like to grip inside these little rings here and then lower it to the ground safely, rolling it back to the post, drop the belt to the floor, and step out. That's how you do the weighted pull-up or chin-up.